Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Is Smash JT being too confident? I think so. If he's still making videos, right? And this lawsuit just took a different turn. Now let's talk about our heroine here, Alyssa Mercante. Last time I remember seeing her, she was swooning over one Hassan. I think was the guy's name. Man, she really has a crush on that guy. If that guy wanted her. If that gentleman wanted, he could have folded her up like fresh laundry, man. Yep. She looked really enamored with him. Regardless, guys, there's always two voices in a lawsuit. And lawsuits are never simple. They never are, guys. No matter what you think of. You know, I always tell this story about something that I was involved in years ago where an entity was claiming that they had invented something. Well, we had a picture of what they claimed they had invented 10 years before they filed their patent. Right? They just, ripped it off basically and started claiming it as their own and wanted to charge us to use it. And you would think that would be something that would throw right away, just throw it out, right? This is ridiculous. No, 2 years, right? And I'm sitting there in a technical advisory position, and at first we're like, this is a slam dunk. What are we doing here? We're all good to go. Never could I ever have imagined that not only did it take a long time, that I myself would have to go and get deposed, right? Lose work in order to do this. So just to summarize the turn that this lawsuit took, I'll give it to you like this. Alyssa Mercante is having an argument with Smash JT. Now, as you can tell, I'm not a lawyer and this is not legal advice, right? This is a layman's perspective. And she's like, Smash JT, I don't like what you said about me, right? Even though it's based on what I said. Shut up. You're making me lose my job. And of course, she kept on, going, whatever, the argument, going back and forth. So then she's like, okay, you want smoke? You got smoke. Getting sued. Boom. Right? So Smash JT's responding. The majority of YouTube, is on his side. He's getting people supporting. And, he's pretty much carrying on the narrative. She can't get an audience to save her life. Doesn't matter how many times she goes online, right? She's not getting the numbers that Smash JT is. And she's looking at all this and looking at all these other people chiming in. And she's like, oh, you want smoke too? So I'm going to touch this fool right here, this fool. Everybody's getting smoke. Everybody's getting touched. That's how this lawsuit just changed. So what I would call that collateral damage, right? And I'm being as simplistic as I can because the strategy here is to put up or shut up. Right? It's how much do you support this man? Right? How much do you support this fight? Because how does this change? If you get named in a lawsuit, not that you're being sued, but if you're named, what's going to happen? You're going to have to get deposed. You have to, baby. Oh, yeah, you're getting smoke. Right? But are they going to throw the lawsuit out or not? That's what I think is going to determine this case right now. If the lawsuit was just about Smash JT saying that things that she doesn't like about herself, I think that wouldn't hold water. But there's a lot of claims in the lawsuit. One of them being tortious interference, which is like business interference. Those are not that simple, right? That's just not name calling. And if you look at the way she's framing her narrative, right, is this: so F that I lost my job and I'm struggling to get a new one. Because of a year-long plus harassment campaign. I am a human being. Not having health insurance is scary. Moving apartments in the midst of all this is a huge financial strain. That's something that anybody, any jury could understand. It doesn't matter how you feel about Alyssa Mercante. She has the right to work like everybody else, right? Maybe not as well, she's not going to get to be the director of anything, but should she be working somewhere? Yeah, right? I was doing my job well, that's her opinion, before all this happened. The cruelest people got what they wanted, And most people in this industry just let it happen. So she feels that after it was all said and done, they threw her under the bus. Is that right? I don't know. I don't know, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's her opinion. That's what she's going with in court. And what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? That's the claim that you have in hand. But what does it mean for the people that have been named? This is what the game changer is, right? Because now everybody that wants to come on with Smash JT, besides the people that are named, could be included in this stuff, right? And you're like, wait a minute, I just came to say hi, What's going on? And all of a sudden, you could be part of a lawsuit, and you can see what the reasoning for this is, right? Do you want to go on a live stream where you can end up owing five racks to an attorney because you might be called to be deposed? I mean, what are your options? Right? What are your options? Okay, well, you don't get one. You're just going to go there for a deposition on your own? That's insane. If you get a good lawyer, you're looking at 5 racks, 5 thou for a retainer, and that evaporates the minute you give it to them. They need 300 here, 200 there. I mean, it just starts there, right? So do you really support this cause to the tune of $5,000 plus? Are you going to fly to New York? Do you have to make arrangements? Do you have to take time off work? These are all things that this strategy makes people think about. So of course you're going to be like, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't, right? Like, that's the whole point of this thing. Maybe I should not. But if they call you to do something like this, of course you have to have an attorney. It would be dumb not to, because a lot of times, and again, guys, I am not a lawyer. I'm just talking from experience. We're just shooting the breeze here, right? Because the narrative that a lot of you put out there is just like, well, this is a slam dunk. He's just going to win. No, even he says that he's got, that he has concerns. But now those concerns have spread out further out than Smash JT. And the reason that you get a lawyer is because the lawyers might be in communication, and, some of them might say, well, you don't necessarily have to come in if you sign this. If you make this statement, you know what I'm saying? Lawyers can do a lot of things in different states. I don't know what the law is because I'm not a lawyer, right? But those are the things that you have to think about. So now, if you really want to be a vocal supporter of this endeavor, are you willing to testify? Are you willing to be deposed? Are you, and everything, I think, guys, is going to boil down to where this is going to be. Is it going to be in New York? Because that's a whole different ball of wax. As I told you before, once you go to New York, if it was me, if they determine it's going to be in New York, I'm settling. Because you can't trust anything up there. Within 5 minutes, they're going to say, depending on what judge you have, and you know what kind of judges you have up there, you're going to say, oh, this man owns a Tesla and he voted for Trump. They could be talking about something completely unrelated, but they're going to make sure that the judge knows who he's dealing with. And you're not going to get a fair trial. They're going to make it look fair, but you're not. I'm not taking my chances that way. Right? These are the kind of things that are up in the air, in my humble point of view. Right? But me, in the first place, I wouldn't be talking about it. I would not. And I know this is not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to know. Anytime you enter into these type of cases, guys, I like to compare it to having a fight with somebody kicking cow turds around towards each other while the crowd is watching. You're trying to kick a turd towards the other person and you don't hit them, you miss it, hit somebody else. That's collateral damage. Now, it's very interesting to talk about. Don't get me wrong. For content purposes, it's great. For the people involved, not so much. Because it costs everybody money. How loyal are you to a cause? Do you have 5 racks lying around to protect yourself? Guard your grill. Or will you flip? Will you sign some sort of statement? I don't know. That's what makes this interesting, right? But this right here changes the game. But we're not, I'm not going to have any like strong opinions really until they determine where this case is going to be at. In my opinion, if it was me, if they moved this thing to New York, man, I don't know. But, at this point, what is Smash JT going to do? If he settles this lawsuit with an apology, what is the subscribers going to say? He's in a really bad position here, right? But I'm sure the lawyers can come up with a win-win situation, right? I'm a big fan of settling where everybody can win. You can have a pay-per-view event, right? Right? A pay-per-view event, or you can have the fights that, man, we can have some mud wrestling. There's all kinds of fun that could be had, right? Before anybody gets hurt. It's all fun and games until you have to sit through a deposition, let me tell you. All right, humans, I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but it's what you need to know. And it's probably what we're going to be talking about in the future when they determine where this case is going to be tried at. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.